Welcome everybody to the NEOS Academy, Marketing Through NEOS. Today we have three of our integration partners joining us to learn about marketing through NEOS. We have Matt from Hona, who is the co-founder. We have Brett Childs, the sales manager at Kenect, and Paul Bemmert, VP of Marketing from Case Status. I'm Pam Hodge. I am the business consultant in the professional services department. I'll be hosting the webinar today. Co-hosting is Lauren Root, who is a knowledge-based content manager. And then we have Raina, and I'm not going to say her last name because I always butcher it. She always laughs at me. She is the QA and trainer for our support team. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive right into the webinar. What we're going to do is we're going to start talking about how you can market it through NEOS. So let me switch my screens and pull up my NEOS. All right, here we go. All right, so when you log in each day, everybody knows that you're going to come to My Dashboards. Most people by default is set on NEOS today. However, you can have all these different dashboards that you want, and we have one set up for marketing. So how does this information come in to these dashboards? All dashboards are created through our reports. So let's dive into where we're going to find that information. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here. We're going to browse cases. Remember, if you hit browse, it will bring up the list of cases. I have mine defaulted for specific case types, but I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click on this case. When I go into the case into NEOS, you have your general information on your case tab. Up here by standard, you have referred by, referred to, how did you hear about us, and marketing campaigns. Well, the referred by and referred to are just that. Those are contact fields providers that are within NEOS. So anytime somebody refers you a case, all you have to do is put their name here, or if you take a case and you're referring it out to other attorneys, you're able to pull that information up. Next, if you come back to how did you hear about us? How did you hear about us? This right here is a source. When you hit your drop down here, you have a list of options. Well, how do you get these options? These options are set up in the admin tools. So you're going to go over here to your settings and you're going to go to your mini directories. And that field on the backside of NEOS is called source. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go here and I'm going to double click on source. When I double click on source, it is going to give me all my options. These are defaulted. If you need to create new, you're just going to hit the add button. And then once you hit the add button, notice you get the red asterisk, and this is a new field. So I can put my name. I'm a source. So let's just say I'm that source. Once I add my name, I hit save, and then I get out of my settings. We always know whenever you make admin settings changes and stuff like that, you want to make sure you're refreshed before you go check to see if your information's there. So I'm going to do a quick refresh of NEOS, and it's going to take me right back to my case. And then how did you hear about us? When I hit this drop down, there is my name. Once I make that change, I can hit save. Once I hit that save, it's going to update my case. Now you have marketing campaigns. If you are a firm that uses Intake Pro, you're going to have the ability to have your marketing campaigns. So how do you get to your marketing campaigns? Again, it's through Intake Pro. I'm going to go back to settings. When I go back to settings, I'm going to go to my intake settings. When I hit intake settings, it's going to give me my options, my workflow and marketing. This is where I'm going to go here and create my marketing campaigns. By default, we have all these options. These are ones that are actually active in our program. How do I know that they're active? Is if I look over here in this active column, everything's active except for this one. If my firm is creating a new campaign and I want to track everything, I go up here and I hit new record. When I hit new record, I get to name. So this one, we're going to call it Raina. And we're going to start it for today. So when I hit the start button, it gives me my calendar. I can choose any date range that I want. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to back it up a little bit. And I'm going to say it started on March the 1st of this year. And it is going to end at the end of April. So this is the name of my campaign, my start date and end date. If you don't know the end date, you can leave it blank. How much did we spend on this marketing campaign? Because we want to track how much we're spending out and how much is coming in. Now, when I hit this source, how am I doing this campaign? Is it by billboard, internet, social media? We're going to choose social media, and I need to make it active. So once I make it active, I can hit save. Once I hit save, it's going to appear in my dropdown. Again, to be able to see this, we're going to go out of our settings. I'm going to do that refresh just for preservation purposes to ensure that when I hit that dropdown, my marketing campaign is going to be there. So I hit this dropdown now here, and then I can scroll down and I can find my new marketing campaign and make those changes. So once I hit save, it is going to pull my information in. I updated it. How'd you hear about us? And what is my marketing campaign? I know I went through that pretty quickly. Raina, are there any questions I can answer at this point?
I don't see any questions as of right now.
Okay. And as always, everything that we go over in our NEOS Academy, there are KB articles, knowledge-based articles that you can refer to. Okay. All right. So let's jump back here. So we're going to go back to our dashboards, and we have all these different dashboards. Once you set up your dashboards, you have the ability to pull this information in. All these dashboards are geared by reports. All right. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go open reports. When I go to open reports, it gives me all these options, but specifically I'm looking at marketing reports. So if I scroll down here and I go to marketing, we have all these marketing reports. There are 19 regular marketing reports that you do not need Intake Pro. And then if you have Intake Pro, you get an additional 9 marketing reports that are specific to features that are in Intake Pro. Again, any of these that you want to look at, all you have to do is say clients by the county, and you can give you this list. So if I was to select this one specific report, it's going to give me a list of everything. I go up here and make my modifications, or if I go in here and create my filters, and then it's going to give me this report. If I go back to my dashboards, it's going to give me all this. So here is a name dashboard. So if I want to go look at this, I can hit my view my query, and it's going to give me my complete list. But if we're looking at these marketing dashboards, I specifically want to know how many intakes I'm taking in based off of all of my different sources. So this right here is going to give me that list. This is a full view. I have 381 from Knoll. I have 173 from organic. I have 7 from Facebook, billboard, all the way through. And even the one that I just switched and it says Raina is the marketing campaign. We can have any views that you want when it comes to these marketing campaigns. So if I go up here to hit edit and I look at these marketing, by default, each one of these are called tiles. If I want to make modifications to these tiles, I can. Let's say I want to change this one. I just hit my little gear, which is my settings, and you get this box that pops up that says, what's the title of your report? Which report are you querying off of? What type of graph do I want? So let's by design, I have bar graph. I want to change it to a pie chart, and then I hit save. When I change that to a pie chart, it automatically saves it for me. Any questions right now? No, we're still good on questions?
So let's see. There is one. The marketing campaign field in NEOS is marked as Pro. So if we don't have Pro, how do we use these reports?
Which marketing campaign report are you specifically talking about? So if I go back here to reports and I go down here to marketing, I have 19 reports that I can use that are not related to Pro. Now, if I go down here, when you're doing intake group by marketing source, by campaign, these are linked to Pro because they have additional features. But you can create a report for yourself that brings in your marketing source that's not related to Pro.
Okay.
So let's see.
So the question's coming from Terry Ann, and
Mhm.
she was saying on the case tab. So the marketing campaign field in Neo. So if you go
Yeah,
back
yeah,
to
yeah. If I go here, now
Mhm.
this right here, if your firm does not have Intake Pro, you're not going to be able to, if you, sorry, let me repeat that. If your firm has Intake Pro, you get the option to use the marketing campaigns. If your firm does not have Intake Pro, marketing campaigns are not available to you because the marketing campaigns themselves are a advanced feature that is included in our Intake Pro. But you can create reports to show how did you hear about us? Because this is a source and this field right here is not linked to our Intake Pro.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. If we have any other questions, if we have time at the end, we will come back to them. If we don't have time at the end, we will definitely get back with you after the webinar. But at this time, I'm actually going to stop sharing and I'm going to introduce Matt, who is the co-founder of Hona. And Matt is going to take us through some marketing things that are available through Hona. Matt?
Thank you so much, Pam. Appreciate it. Hello, all NEOS people. Thank you for coming to this webinar today. I'm going to talk a little bit about Hona in the grand scheme of marketing and just client experience in general. I'll keep it pretty short, but feel free. I think at the end you're gonna have the opportunity to learn more information about us and dive deeper into things. So let me share my screen real quick. I'm going to pull up this. Hona is all about perfecting your client experience, and really core to our mission is that you can market, you can use Hona's complete everything without your team having to take too many steps away from Neos. Real legal work is done in Neos, and so your team, yourselves shouldn't have to leave Neos to do too much stuff. And so we kind of operate on the overlap of client experience and efficiency, operational efficiency, where you can automate a lot of your day-to-day and you can get to your clients without having to take 15 extra steps. So a little about Hona. It's one place for all of your client interactions. It can be customizable completely by practice area. So if your firm does Social Security and personal injury, not an issue at all. You can make that completely based on fields within Neos. We have a reputation management component for getting more Google reviews, for tracking your net promoter score. And then really marketing focused is we have a mass messaging and kind of campaign building tool where you can reach out to all of your clients at once. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to jump into what it looks like for your client's experience. So bear with me as I share my phone screen. Okay, wonderful. Now, primarily, Hona is completely text message or email driven, with the default being text messaging. Essentially, what you can do is you can tie it to different things and different triggers within Neos. So things like the class code field, which I know a lot of you use, the matter stages, and the checklist items, any of those can trigger updates within Hona. And here's what those updates actually look like. You'll get a text message, so-and-so law firm's made an update on your case, check it out. All they have to do is click a link and it pulls them into this client experience that you're seeing. It's white labeled, looks exactly like it's made by your firm. Hona, we don't even care if our name's involved at all. And from there, the client's able to kind of navigate through what's going on with their case. So here's an example of just a standard personal injury case. You can see they're in the treatment phase. You can educate the client, give them descriptions. These frequently asked questions, we call these the phone call killers because you get asked the same 10 questions over the phone and email every single day. We also allow the client to look forward and kind of just get an overview of what this case is going to look like at a high level, killing a lot of the questions and giving them a really good client experience and keeping them away from Google, getting false information as to how their case works. A couple other things, if you need to schedule stuff for your clients, you can schedule depositions, you can schedule appointments. We have some clients that are scheduling the actual medical appointments that get followed up via text message. We also display the team that's working the case that we pull directly out of Neos. And then if you need to collect information throughout the case, we also allow this on an automated basis. You can build custom forms that when this checklist item is done in Neos, send a form automatically and follow up with them every day until it's complete. Once again, all delivered via text message. So that's kind of just an overview of what the client experience looks like. Lots of really cool stuff. And the reason this overlaps so much with marketing is your client experience and creating turning your clients into your sales team essentially, with more client referrals, better Google reviews, better testimonials. All these things lead to a better top of funnel kind of intake process. And so building this system and allowing your clients and enabling them to have the best client experience possible is a game changer for your firm. Okay, I wanted to just jump real quick back into what it looks like on top of Neos, because I mentioned quite a bit about just like client experience your team not having to leave Neos. And so that's what this looks like is we actually, this should look very familiar to all of you being Neos. We have this Chrome extension that sits on top of Neos that allows you to pull a lot of Hona's functionality just right here into Neos. And so it reads whatever case you're looking at based on the URL and based on where you are in Neos. If you need to text message your client, it's just right there. If you want to send them a Google review, it's just right here. Send off those forms on an ad hoc basis if you're not using the automation, it's right there. So a lot at your fingertips that allow your team to not have to leave Neos in order to do this client communication and really uplift your client experience. Now, as promised, one last thing, mass messaging. All of your clients and all of your parties will sync into Hona on a nightly basis from Neos. Emails, names, even birth dates. We can automate birthday text messages based on birthdays that are set up within Neos. So all these really nice little marketing features that allow you guys to do things. You can schedule out text messages. You can pull their first name into it to make it a little bit more, build messaging templates that allow you to not have to type everything out all the time, and then just scheduling it. So yeah, that super brief overview. Once again, if you want to learn more, we're happy to dive deeper into a demo and show you what it's going to look like at your own firm. But at the end of the day, what we care about is client experience, because the rest of your firm's metrics and marketing metrics go up if your client experience is at the top of its game. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt. Next up, we have Brett Charles from Kenect. Brett, I'll let you take it away.
There we go. I'm unmuted now. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm Brett over here at Kenect. I oversee our legal vertical here within the space. And over here at Kenect, we are a communication platform that focuses on three main areas of the client experience. One, getting them in the front door by allowing them to text message you directly from the website. Two, we increase efficiency by creating templates, broadcast messaging, and overall scaled tools to help you in essentially building the ultimate client experience via text messaging as well. And on the back end, helping to not just generate, but also manage and dispute reviews as well. So one-star reviews that are fraudulent, scam, spam, or even conflict of interest, we can help you remove from Google, Facebook, and other sites as well. So let me show you a few ways that we do that. So first and foremost, how we help off the front end is we get a text us widget right there on your website. And what this does is people want to text message you. They want to be able to get that conversation on their phone as quickly as possible. And through our text us widget, we now take that conversation from a web chat, from a fill out form to text message. And our team will directly begin responding to them via our managed conversations. And we find that if we can get our conversations on their phones, in their pockets, versus an abandoned chatbot or even an email, we find that the conversion of those leads are significantly higher. Our managed conversations team is actually a team of live individuals here in the United States of America that respond in less than a minute to these conversations. And as we learn from you what your qualification process is, what your intake questions are, we can make sure that qualified leads are reaching your inbox. And those that aren't, we can politely redirect them to other resources or other sources that you would deem best for someone that would not be a good fit for your office. We find, let's see if this slide will transition here. There we go. So as they fill out their information, we get the name, phone number, and message. This is through that text us widget on the website. And from that point on, the conversation continues via their text messaging in their pocket. You'll see this end where we are running them through your questionnaire. And once they are indeed qualified, you'll get this notification saying qualified lead forwarded from managed conversations from this live individual that's been going back and forth with your potential client. Once that is in your inbox in Kenect, you take that conversation from there and you decide whether you need a phone call, an office visit, or continue speaking via text message. We also have a broadcast messaging feature where if you need to give a notice of an event, a promotion, a service that you're doing, a mass request for reviews, or even a mass request for referrals, we can help you do that by simply selecting a group from within Neos and deciding what that message is and scheduling that message as well. We find that with this scaled messaging, you're saving mass amounts of time as text messages are responded to at a much higher rate than email. 98% open rate, 45% response rate we see on our broadcast messaging. And since we sync with your office phone number, they should be able to recognize this number. They'll be able to see, oh, I've communicated with this person in the past, and that they'll be able to have a two-way communication as well via broadcast message. So it's not just a one-way blast. We also on the back end help with those reviews. Google loves 4 things: quality, quantity, we all know that one, but recency and owner response as well. And within our platform, you can affect all of these. I'll talk about one specifically though, and that's our private feedback option. Obviously, we want to automate as much as possible and get the voice of all of our customers, but some of them reaching online, we might be a little bit nervous about. And through our private feedback feature, as you are automating these requests for all people to leave a review for you, we ask them, would you recommend our firm? And one of 2 things can happen. Oops, let's go back one. As we send that message, we'll give them that link where we ask if they would recommend the firm. If they select yes, we go, fantastic. Let's direct you to Google, Facebook, or any other review site that you think would be a good place for them to leave a review. If they say no, let's ask for that private feedback. And with that private feedback, you can re-engage and reopen that two-way communication to address their concerns and see if we can convert this poor customer experience to a positive one. And of course, in order to be compliant with Google, we still have that option. If you prefer, you can leave that public review as well. So you're within compliance with Google, Facebook, and any other review sites. As they respond, you now can open up within Kenect, and where you can see all of your other text messages going on, you have a specific section for your private feedback where you can see those that are coming in and need responses. As you're able to convert that conversation to a positive one, you now can re-engage and ask again for that review. On the back end, our integration with Neos is super seamless. We reach out to Neos every hour to bring in those new contacts you're bringing in. Leads that come in through the website are pushed directly to Neos as well. Conversations posted directly within the case notes and are updated every 10 minutes. And for any of that automation that you want to do, whether that's welcoming somebody to the firm or simply on the case closed end, automatically requesting that review, we can build in those triggers automatically. Not to mention any attachments or documents that are sent back and forth via text message are automatically documented in Neos as well. So if you want to learn more, we'd love to chat with you. We do have a direct integration partner with Neos, and we're excited to chat with each of you. Take the time.
Thank you, Brett. You do have time for one question. And one of the questions is there a way for the firm to take the text conversation from the very beginning?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you do not want our team to engage with that managed conversations team of live individuals, we can directly push into your Kenect platform and you can take that message right from the beginning. So no need to have us as a filter if you don't want us there.
All right, thanks, Brett. Next up, we have Paul, who is the VP from Case Status. Paul, let's take it away.
All right, let me share my screen here. All right, thank you, Pamela. Appreciate the time to be here. Want to talk a little bit about the relationship between Neos and Case Status. I'm the Vice President of Marketing here at Case Status, so I'm going to try to put myself in your shoes as marketers. But again, I'm going to close with this slide as well. If you want to continue this chat afterward, happy to reach out, or you can find lots of good information on our website. So when I think about what you all are trying to do in 2024, right, it's a wish list of marketing goals. And I think Pamela showed a lot of the really cool aspects that you see in Intake Pro. From my standpoint of putting myself in your shoes, there are 6 things that I'm trying to solve for. The first is to bring you a unique value proposition. So if we think about PI as an example, I'm the right attorney, I'll fight for you, I'll get the most money, right? There, you see that message a lot. We're able to change that game and get through the noise and differentiate yourself from your competition. We'll talk about how. The second is being found, right? We want you to be number 1 in digital search. We know that a lot of hiring decisions are made via the Google search and others, whether it's paid LSA or organic, coming in through the Google search. We want you to be found. We want you to be up there high. The third is we want you to be able to reach your audience, whether it's prospect or client. Know the right channels. We've heard the topic of email open rates. Those are terrible, right? So the idea of channel, getting to your audience, having them guaranteed to receive it and open it is something that we're solving for. The fourth thing is mobilize your happy clients, right? You want 9s and 10s. You want to know that they're 9s and 10s for those direct referrals and for those 5-star reviews in public spaces. It's the voter, it's the Amazon effect. You want to make that happen for your firm. Then we get into 2 ideas that we don't think a lot about when we think about communications, but repeat business. We want to expand our practices into new practice areas, and there are ways that are exciting that you can do that. We want to increase that total lifetime value of each individual client that we touch. And we also want to own the brand. We want to have our brand awareness be above and beyond in all of the communities we serve. So how do we do this here at Case Status? So we are the 5-star Neos client engagement mobile app. We are all about engaging your clients in the most effective way. Engagement is hard. Having those intimate relationships with folks in a digital age is difficult, but we make it super easy for the firm because we study consumer behavior. We fancy ourselves consumer whisperers and understand where consumers are aggregating. And you can think about that yourself as consumers in your private life, right? We meet clients where they expect to be met by giving your firm a 5-star app. That's the foundation. So as a marketer, you might say, well, I don't really understand. How do I bring in more intake with the 5-star app? Well, the idea is that everything good happens from there. And it's every marketer's dream that you now get this ability to reach folks where they are with a certainty of 80 or 90% on that target audience, right? And it's not just an app. It's backed up by SMS text. That's how we invite folks in. That's how we do our authentication. So even if the app is not in play, everything has a backstop of getting through in SMS text. We have tens of thousands of 5-star ratings on the Google Play Store and tens of thousands of 5-star ratings on the iOS store. So again, you want the social proof of where these clients, over 1 million clients, trust law firms that use Case Status. That's what we're talking about, the foundation. So let's bring it back to how this helps you as a marketer, or maybe you're part of the legal staff that's doing a day job of marketing because you're trying to grow your firm. I'll go through this, what I call a virtuous cycle of where the happy clients become intake. So the first and foremost, we're going to go counterclockwise starting on the left. We want you to have more happy clients. When we meet them where they expect to be met, we engage with them, we allow them to self-serve, we empower them, we remind them that they hired the right legal team. Guess what? They're 9s and 10s. That brings us into the second one. How do you know? We automatically measure happiness. Every step along the journey, we give them an opportunity to give you feedback. So you're not wondering who your 5-star reviews are going to come from. You know. And when you get the low review, that's okay. That's a check engine light. We love the low review because it allows you to intercept that low and turn it into a high score. A 9 that has moved from a 6 is stronger than a 9 that started as a 9, and they're much more likely to give you a review or a referral. So you need to make them happy, but then you got to measure who they are. That's where we bring in the third step, which is mobilizing happiness. We have all of the automation built in to trigger the marketing to ask for the review, ask for the referral. If you have a happy client and you don't ask for the review or the referral, you will get 10% of those giving out reviews and referrals. If you make the ask, you will get 90% participation. So making the ask is the most important thing you can do out there when you know who your happy clients are. Now you've got this foundation, right? You're building on it as a marketer. You're using it as sort of raw materials to help grow. So here's where we take it into drip marketing. All of the automations that we have built in to reach those clients, to reach those folks in your system, right? They're clients for life. You can get the review today. You can get the review 10 years from now. You can get the review referral today. You might get it 10 years from now. Making sure that you stay top of mind, bringing them value, reminding them of everything that you did for them is an awesome opportunity. And when you've created this ability to connect, it's going to pay dividends. So that's drip marketing, right? Have it running, have access to it as a marketer for your firm. Now we change the game a little bit more and get into co-counsel specialization. This goes into the idea of, I think, Pamela, you were talking about bringing in referrals. You refer business out, you bring referrals in. Well, if you went through the intake effort of bringing in that deal and you refer it out to a visiting attorney, you don't want that visiting attorney getting a 5-star review. You want to make sure you get the 5-star review. So we have the ability to bring in visiting co-counsel to work in your system, NEOS and case status together, and give them access to the case they're working, keep them on brand, on message, and make sure that you have governorship over that. That's going to be impactful because the 5-star review is going to come back to you and not to them, but it allows you to expand specialization. Co-counsel goes the other way around. We have firms that are expanding their practice areas via co-counsel. So think about it again. You have all these clients that you want to continue to add value for. Maybe you did it in PI, but maybe now they need an estate planner. Well, you don't have an estate planning practice area, but you've got a big referral network. Go back and market to those folks that you can help them with estate planning. Bring them through, bring in co-counsel. Now you've just expanded your opportunity from an intake perspective, and you didn't really change the org structure at all. The last two that we'll hit in are really X factors. They're fun, unique marketing message. We have folks that have our tech on billboards. We have folks that have them in YouTube videos, right? So they're standing ahead and they're saying, we're the right firm for you. We will work with you. But they'll talk about translation in 138 different languages in neighborhoods where they know they're supporting clientele that don't speak English, right? They can use that showing our technology. So it changes the game of what consumers are typically hearing out there. And that's a way that you can amplify the message that you have for your firm. And last but not least, gets into an idea that you've heard a little bit before, which is the idea of text intake. So since we register every SMS number for your firm, it's not a generic number, we are able to route that in a particular way. So when you are on your website and you say, please call us, right? You want to get that call and you want to have it roll through and you want to have all that information come in, but sometimes they'll text. So you can open up the opportunity to bring that text in. And again, through the integration between case status and NEOS, we're able to bring that information into NEOS and have your team work on that intake opportunity and get that retainer signed, right? So again, brings us all the way back to folks, intake, make them happy. Happy clients will continue to grow your firm all the way back to the next cycle of intake. And this is where we think that the flywheel will really start spinning for your firm. Thanks for the opportunity, Pamela. If there's any questions, I don't know if I ate up the whole time, but happy to.
Yeah, you did. You're good. So what we're gonna do, Paul, again, thank you. Matt and Brett, everybody, thank you for being here with us today. They are going to stay on with us until the end of our webinar. So if we have some time at the end, we'll open it up so you guys can ask any of them any questions. But right now, we're going to turn it over to Ms. Lauren, and she's going to go into Mailchimp. It's an integration that's built into NEOS. So Ms. Lauren, take it away.
Great, thank you so much. All right, wonderful. So I'm going to share with you, there we go. I'm going to share with you about one of our integrations called Mailchimp, and Mailchimp is an mass email marketing service that you can use with NEOS. It utilizes your existing contacts inside of NEOS, and I'm going to show you the process of how to go about setting it up, and you'll be able to see how seamless it is. So what do you need to get started with Mailchimp? Well, first of all, you'll need a Mailchimp account, and I'm going to be showing you my test Mailchimp account shortly as we navigate through the setup of the integration. So we recommend that your firm have a paid Mailchimp account, and the reason for this is that when you create a Mailchimp account, you're automatically Mailchimp will automatically create a an audience for you, and so when you create the integration with NEOS, as I will show you, it will automatically create another Mailchimp audience called NEOS integration, which would put you over the limit of your single audience that is allowed through the free Mailchimp service. So that is why we advise your firm to have the paid version, so you won't have to worry about removing an audience just to meet that qualification for the free one. Okay, so once you have your Mailchimp Mailchimp account, and even if you don't, I will show you how to easily set it up when we do the setup portion of it. One other tidbit to keep in mind is we really recommend that someone at your firm be deemed the Mailchimp administrator. And the reason for this is that the sync between Neos and Mailchimp is one way. So your contacts will be put into a mailing list and will be synced over to the audience inside Mailchimp. But let's say, for example, a change is made to a case type. And so a contact who is a party in a case is in a case type that is listed as motor vehicle. And then there is a change at your firm and someone has decided that it's now going to be shortened to just MVA. Well, because if you are syncing case types, that information will have previously synced over to Mailchimp as a tag. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about those tags in a minute, but it will be synced into Mailchimp as a tag. But then if a change is made in the Neo side, which will of course get updated and it will be seamless on the Neo side, that information will not be automatically updated on the Mailchimp side. So having a Mailchimp administrator will just make sure that any information that is put into the mailing list inside Neos and synced over will be seamless, and you won't have to worry about any additional tags being created where you don't need them. So those are just some things to keep in mind. So before we do the actual setup here, there is one thing that you need to make sure that you have configured properly. So if we go to settings and firm preferences, and then in the first tab that pops up, this is your firm address section. You just want to make sure that your firm address fields are complete here. So this is one requirement that we need before we start setting up the integration. So everything looks great here. And now I'm going to go back into my settings. Okay, so, and again, to get to your integrations, if you're unfamiliar, you'll click the settings here on the left, and then you'll scroll down and locate the integrations button, and then you'll select Mailchimp on the left. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the setup of this. I'm going to click Setup Mailchimp. And on this window, this is just letting you know that Neos is going to create this Neos integration audience. Now, if you had previously disabled the integration and then re-enabled it, we are not going to recreate another Neos integration. We will locate the one that you already have, and this way it will be synced seamlessly. And then this is just also letting you know that once the integration is set up, when you're at the point when you're creating your marketing campaigns in Mailchimp, you'll just need to make sure that the sender name, the email, the subject, that all will be configured inside Mailchimp. So we're going to go ahead and click Continue. And then a separate window will pop up and it will, let's see if it's going to, yep, perfect, but I want to change that to myself. And it's going to authorize you to log into your Mailchimp account. So if you at this point don't have a Mailchimp account, but everything that we talked about previously is already set up, you've checked your firm preferences, everything is looking great, you can actually just click Create Account here and start the process for creating a Mailchimp account. But since I already have one, I'm going to log in. And then on the next screen, this is just authorizing Neos, letting you know that Neos and Mailchimp are going to communicate together, where the information that you provide in for the mailing list with your contacts that already exist will be connected. So I'm going to click Allow. Okay, and then once this is authorized, it's going to close. You can see here that now the connection status is active. You might have seen that my audience was just for a brief moment said not found. And that is simply because if I didn't have an audience created already for Neos integration, it would create one. Or if I already had one, it was going to locate that one and be there. So either way, my audience is found, I'm good to go. As you see here, create audience is disabled. This is correct because it has found my audience or created one if I didn't have one. If by chance the audience becomes deleted from Mailchimp, this would be enabled, allowing you to create it at that time. Now let's take a look at the settings. So in this sync settings, as I mentioned before, your contacts inside Neos will be synced accordingly. So I'm going to show you how to create that specific type of mailing list inside Neos. But in here, this is where you can actually choose what information that is associated with your contacts should be synced over. So this information will be created as tags. As I mentioned, when we go through and we send one of our contacts through the through our mailing list, and it sends over to Mailchimp, I will show you these tags. So for example, let's say you have a party and you add them, you have a contact who is a party, that party will create a tag of party. Same as provider. And I mentioned before about case type. If you choose to sync case type, let's say that contact is a party in a case of an MVA case type, that MVA case type will be created as a tag inside your Mailchimp. Same thing for party roles, provider roles, those specific roles will be created as tags. And you might be wondering, why would I need to use this? Well, let's say that in your mailing list that you're syncing to Mailchimp, you have over 1,000 contacts in there, and you'd like to send communication to a specific subset, maybe just contacts in the MVA case types. Using these tags, you can, inside Mailchimp, pick and choose the tags that you'd like to create with your marketing campaign. So it allows you to really kind of hone in on exactly which contacts without having to parse that out on the Neo side. So let's go ahead and click save. And of course, you can just click on or off whichever ones that you would like. So I'm going to save my settings here. Okay, everything looks good on this side. Now I'm going to go over to the last portion for setting up the Mailchimp integration, and that is in my mailing list. So I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to click mailing list. Okay, so now we have all of our existing mailing lists with Neos. Well, once you have created in integrations, as we saw, once we have enabled this Mailchimp integration, we now have the option to create a new type of mailing list. So let's go ahead and click add. And I'm just going to call this Mailchimp for today. Now we have this option in this dropdown under type. We also have managed, and manage, what that does, I'm going to go ahead and click save, is all the contacts that I add into this managed mailing list will be automatically synced over to my Mailchimp account. So just make sure that your managed mailing list is active, which should be by default when you add it, because if you add contacts here and then it ends up getting disabled, then those contacts will not sync properly. So let's go ahead and add one of our contacts. So I am going to add Mr. Simon Holiday, and I'm going to select his name here. Okay, so on this window, I have the options. Mr. Holiday has a few addresses listed, so I'm going to select his address and the email that I'd like to send. Now, because he's not attached to any of my existing mailing lists, that is why it says none right here. Once I click save and if I go back to this window after the fact, you'll see that he'll now be a member of this Mailchimp mailing list. I'm going to click save here. He has been added. Let's go over to our test Mailchimp account. Oh, I think I just need to refresh that. And yes, it is coming in. All right, awesome. So I'm going to go to my contact. And let's see if it loads. Okay, wonderful, it's loaded. All right, so now Mr. Holiday has been added. And as you can see, our audience Neos integration has been created because it wasn't there before. When I set up the integration, it created this Neos integration audience, and Mr. Holiday has been added. And if I scroll over here, you can see that those tags that I mentioned earlier are here. So Mr. Holiday is a party. He is has a party role of creditor, and he's in a case type of MVA. So, and he has some additional tags there, but those are the tags that you can utilize while you're setting up your marketing campaigns in Mailchimp. Okay, so let's go back. I want to show you one more thing with Mailchimp, and that is another contact that I'd like to add. So let's say we want to add April Academy. I'm going to select her. Same thing here. I'm going to select her address. She only has one, but take close attention here. She actually is missing a portion of her address, so her city is not here. which you may or may not notice while you are going through it. I'm going to click save. The data saved successfully. She's in my Mailchimp mailing list inside Neos. But if I go back over to here and I refresh, there we go. Okay, awesome. You'll see I refresh and I'm still only showing one contact. And that is because her address is not complete. And this is where your Mailchimp administrator will really come into play, making sure that all the contacts that you include in this managed Mailchimp mailing list has complete information. So make sure that they have a full address listed, and that, of course, that their email is an accurate email, because then it won't be delivered properly. So just make sure that those things are in place. And then just one more note is that for all of the contacts that you add in, they will automatically be shown as unsubscribed. And that is only because you just have not added them to a marketing campaign yet. Okay, let's see. Raina, are there any questions before we move on to the last portion of the Academy?
Yeah, so we do have Miss Shelby asking, do you get any sort of notification that there is an issue with an address?
That is a very good question. I believe that from the Neo side, there is no notification, because I was able to add Miss April's full address without an issue there. So that is a very great question. I will have to look in to see if there's any notification. Well, I mean, they didn't get included in my Mailchimp listing there, but I can test a little bit on my side and get back to you to see if perhaps if you add them manually into Mailchimp, if you would get a notification from that side. So we could definitely get back to you on that. But thank you.
All right, other than that, there are no other questions. Thank you.
Okay, great. So the last portion of the Academy today is I want to take you through to the self-service portal and knowledge base. So if you are not familiar, to get to the self-service portal, you're going to click the question mark on the top right corner of Neo. Let's go ahead and click that. Okay, so in the self-service portal, if this is the first time you're accessing the portal in a while and information has been updated in this side pane, it will automatically fly out for you. And in here, you'll see information related to our releases, and then also any additional call out that we have regarding integrations, as well as our change log, which is a running list of all of our changes we've made to Neo. And so to click out of here, you can close this by clicking just out of that window anywhere. And now we're back to the self-service portal. And this middle section, this has our top 5 most viewed articles. So perhaps something that you're looking for might be in one of these heavily viewed articles. And of course, you can just click this link and it will open up the knowledge base in a separate window with this exact article selected. And you can also, of course, get to the knowledge base by clicking Show All. I'm going to click this knowledge base button from the self-service catalog. And this is going to open up a separate window here. So as you can see, there are just shy of 800 articles, and that is a ton of articles to go through. So I'm going to show you a little bit about some easy ways to find articles. So if you look to the left of Neos, we have this caret icon here. Let's click that. Now, all of these categories listed here are areas in which you would find content if you were literally inside of Neos. So let's take a scroll down here. We're going to scroll over to the integrations. I'm going to click integrations. And as you can see, there are 39 articles listed here. Still a lot, but a lot less than almost 800. So I want to direct your attention to this middle pane here. Next to 39 articles by this drop down, I have it set to last updated because I like to see the most recently updated information first in the list. You might also choose to select most viewed, and the most viewed is directed at, you can either have most viewed from this top level of Neo or drill down to each category and show most viewed. So perhaps you'd like to see it that way. I personally like to choose last updated, but it's up to you. Now, 39 articles is still a ton of articles to look through. So let's bring down this caret even further. And as you can see, all of the integrations that we have with Neos have their own subcategory. So as a reminder, we heard from integrations for case status, as well as Hona and Kenect. All of these have their separate KB articles that you can reference with reporting with related links. So definitely take a look at those. We also saw how to set up the Mailchimp integration. Okay, one other thing that I do want to share with you as well is this search up here. It says enter a keyword, but it's tricky because you can actually enter a keyword and a KB article number. So let's say, for example, you remember Pam talking about tiles today. So if we just type in tile, you'll see that there are some suggested articles that have the word tile in them, but I have a feeling there's a few more. So let's just click enter there to get the full list. Okay, so now we have 39 articles about, there we go, about tiles, but that doesn't really tell me a whole lot. I want to know in which categories these are. So I'm going to click the caret again, and now we remember Pam talking about my dashboard. So if I click my dashboards, we're down to 11. That's looking a lot better. Let's click that third level category one more time, and we have the two options. So we have accessing and advanced analytics, and we know Pam talked about the basic setup of my dashboards today, and now we're down to 5. So take a look here. I sorted this by last updated, and custom dashboard tiles is the article where Pam talks about adding a tile and how to coordinate that with an advanced search query. So I think this is the one that we need today. Now, as I mentioned before, this search here is both a keyword search and an article number search. So if you need to know the article number of a KB, we could just click this print icon here. And then in this URL, and you can just ignore this screen or just click cancel. In this URL here, you'll see that we have the KB article number, and that will likely either be a 3 or a 4-digit number. And then you can just jot this article number down. So this one happens to be 1684. And let's say that you are back to square one and you've removed all your search terms and you just want to find that 1684. You can just type it in there, click enter, and now we have our article that Pam referenced earlier today. Okay, so I'm going to close this knowledge base here. And let's go back into the self-service portal. There's a few other things I want to show you today. First of all, the ideas and enhancements. If you have an idea for making Neos even better, then we really want to hear from you. So by clicking here, you'll be directed into our portal where you can create a new idea, or you can vote on an existing idea. And of course, you know, we have a KB article with instructions on how to do that process. The next thing I want to bring your attention to is this Neos University. This is a wonderful resource for everyone at your firm to be a pro user of Neos. We have 2 courses, beginner user and administrator training, and these courses can be completed on your own time. We automatically save your progress, and then once everything is complete, you'll receive a Credly badge that you can display on your social media platform. So it's a really great course. I hope you have a chance to look at it. And let's go back into the portal. The next thing I want to bring your attention to is the Learning Hub. This Learning Hub is chock full of short videos about Neos. Everything inside Neos you can access. Some specific call outs would be that we have all of our previous Neos Academies on here. So let's say you haven't had a chance to sign up for a Neos Academy recently and you just want to make sure that you can catch up. Well, all of them are listed here. We also have our new in Neos, which our very own Brian Billig records as he talks about each release in full depth, which is really great. So take a look at those. And then, of course, we have our on-demand webinars of previously recorded sessions if you weren't able to attend them. So definitely utilize this resource. It's free and to use along with Neos. And then the last feature I want to show to you today is our Get Support. If you've tried to exhaust all of these wonderful resources and you just need a little more assistance, you can click Get Support. And then on this screen, you will, let's see.
It's time to lunch.
I know, it's like 5.
It's like,
well, when
let's
that
go to
loads,
lunch.
let's see if I'll just refresh that really quickly. Let's see. Oh, perfect. There we go. Oh. Goodness, here we go. All right, so you'll enter in your name, your email address, your company's name, your phone number, and then your subject. So let's say, for example, you have a question about reports. As you start typing, you'll see that the system will suggest some articles related to reports, but perhaps that's not exactly what you're looking for. Maybe it's related to marketing particularly. And as you continue to type, these suggested articles will display. And perhaps this contains the answer you're looking for. You just go ahead and click that, and that KB article will display. But of course, if it is not, feel free to continue with the subject and then your description of your issue. And if you have any attachments that you can include, definitely put those there. And once you click submit, that information will be sent over to our support team, where we will be happy to assist you. Okay, I think that looks great. And I am just going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to show our last slide. And back to you, Pam.
Thank you, Lauren. We have a few minutes left in the webinar. Does anybody have any questions for any of our guest speakers? Any questions that you want to ask them about their integrations? Doesn't look like we have any questions. Matt or Brett or Paul, is there anything else you guys would like to say before we wrap the webinar up?
I'm all
Really
right.
just
Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, just appreciate the invite. Happy to chat with all of you, and great to meet all of you as well. Thank you.
Likewise, thank you.
Well, we at Slimly would like to thank you guys for being here. If anybody wants a demo with Matt, Brett, or Paul, please reach out to them directly, or you can send an email to any of us here at Assembly. Again, we want to thank everybody for coming to the marketing webinar with Assembly. We, of course, have our academies every month. Next month is, I think it's going to be the second week of May, I believe. Don't have the right in front of me. If you need to book any trainings or need additional help, don't hesitate to reach out to anybody. And we definitely like to thank everybody for coming. And gentlemen, you guys have a great day, and we look forward to seeing everybody next month at the May Academy.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.